day 2. I'm trying to lay down a guide track so I can write myself a drum beat, like a MIDI drum beat, to act as like a guide for me, so I know where the song's going. Because obviously I'm not that technically proficient, so I need a guide to sort me out. Once again, I'm just gonna leave this running and try and forget all about it. So we'll see what happens. I thought you'd rather see what I was doing rather than just watch my face. So I do all of this stuff in GarageBand at the moment on my laptop, just purely because I'm on my laptop and it copes with GarageBand better than it does with Logic. So what I've done is, those of you, I'm sure some of you will recognise the GarageBand interface. That's just my input stuff, just running through a Line 6 tone port. It doesn't really matter that much at the moment, so I'll get rid of all that. Let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see the track in its entirety. A little bit more. There we go. Right, I've got my drum track at the top, which is the loop, which if you watch the last video you'll have listened to horrible endless minutes of me going through stuff. Well, that was edited as well till I found this, but there you go. Yeah, it's pretty much meaningless. All it does is let me keep in with the measures along the bottom, which means I can run at a tempo, a set tempo that I've picked, so I can figure out how many bars each of my sections are, how I want to arrange them, all that kind of thing. GarageBand also has a really useful tool under the track menu. You can show arrange track. Now I've already been in and edited this, because I tend to do it as I'm going. That's the end of your song there, that's where the file will cut off. I'm just going to move that to show you. If you go to the edge of your song there, if you want to if you want to stick another section in, you just hit the little plus button there and it will bring you up a section which you can move like that. Doesn't really make much difference, I don't need it, so I'll just go back and take that off. Reset the end of my song. Now the good thing about this is the arrangement track. What it lets you do is, say you want, this is my middle 8 here, say you want to see what this middle 8 would sound like before this chorus, even though you wouldn't in the song, but anyway, all you need to do is click it and not change the name, click it and drag it, and you can just swap entire sections, which is great. It's really useful if you just want to kind of see what a part would sound like if it came before another. So I've already decided my order, so I'll swap that back. The reason that analysing file keeps popping up is because I've got a tempo change, which I'll show you in a second. Right, the other thing you've got is your master track, which is under the track menu. You can bring it up at the bottom there. You've got one of these for tracks, so it's like an automation basically. You can set volume to fade in and out, panning, any kind of effect built in or any plug-in into GarageBand you can automate to fade in and out through these systems, just through add automation under there, like that. Brings you up your menu, all your plugins and stuff like that. I haven't got very many on here, but that's basically how you do it. And the difference between the track automation and the master track means that instead of just affecting a single track, so where I've dropped the volume there for a fade out, So my fade out will sound like this. You can apply that to the entire track, and that's the difference where you've got the master tempo here, which is something a lot of people don't know how to do in GarageBand, is change the tempo. So if you want a half-time section or just a slower section, you can do stuff like this. So it works in exactly the same way. Just drag your little command balls around. Command balls, awesome. You got a normal kind of drum rhythm, which will sound like that. That's my normal tempo, which is 100 and something, 170. Woo, get rid of that. I dropped it down to 120 for my halftime section, because you mathematic people out there will know that BPM is logarithmic, but there you go. It drops it down something like this, so you can hear, I'll play it so you can hear my slower section going into my chorus section. I know I've called it halftime, but it probably isn't, so it sounds like this. It's not perfect, but what I'm gonna do is take this whole section and delete it and write my own MIDI drum track, just as a reference point basically, and then I can re-record my basic guitar track to lock in with the drums, so it'll be a lot tighter, and you get a much better sound, as far as you can get with GarageBand anyway. Although apparently Coldplay recorded their entire last album in GarageBand, but I'll believe that when I see the files. You can get a pretty good sound out of GarageBand though. It's very versatile. It uses a lot of the engines from. It's basically a simplified version of Logic. It's a lot more visual than Logic. It's a lot more user friendly. I like it because I can use it when I'm drunk, which is most of the time. Yeah, it's just really easy to. You can either put together a fairly good sounding demo to take to your band, or you can do what I'm doing and spend a little bit more time on it, and hopefully make it sound half decent. I mean, we'll see what happens by the end of this series of videos, hopefully. So yeah, that's my guide track.